Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we are looking at the New Warriors, number 1 through 4. One of my favorite teen books. I love teen books. Can't wait to show it to you guys. So subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. So I'm a huge fan of teen superhero comics, and New Warriors is no exception. It was so awesome. So let's go ahead and look at the first few issues here. This is a very striking cover. It's obviously evocative of Giant Size X-Men #1, with the new team sort of ripping through an image, and it's, not an old team behind them like in the original, but it's still got that same sort of theme and premise. It's got all the covers of the other comics, so it's Heroes for the 90s, so it's sort of breaking through what you knew for the 80s, and this is introducing the heroes of the 90s. This is 1990, which I feel like very early 90s, so we're not quite into the whole like image explosion and that aesthetic, so I feel like, and I'm assuming this is Mark Bagley, who was the original penciler of the series, did this cover, and he definitely has a more traditional comic book art style. I'm very on the fence about him. I really liked his original New Warrior stuff, but I feel like, interesting. So Al Williamson inked him. I think it depended on the inker, because I felt like it was okay with Al Williamson, who I love, one of my favorite inkers on someone like John Romita Jr. But when Larry Malstead took over as inker, I felt like it sort of elevated Bagley's pencils, but we'll get into that as we go through. So Fabian Nicieza, writer, Mark Bagley, penciler, L. Williamson, inker, Michael Heisler, letterer, Mike Rockwitz, colorist, Danny Fingereth, editor, and Tom DeFalco, editor-in-chief. So this is 1990. So this is post-Jim Shooter. Jim Shooter was such a huge, literally being like almost 7 feet tall, and figuratively force in the comics industry, and really shaped like what we know as like 80s Marvel comic books. So mixed emotions about him too, but I guess everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. But I have to say, true testament to Al Williamson. I love this splash page. I think that's so cool. Night Thrasher. This is a fun lineup of characters. We have Firestar, who was originally introduced, I want to say, in like the X-Men episode of Spider-Man, but I'm not 100%. I feel like some tie to the X-Men, but like her, when she was introduced to the Marvel Universe through her miniseries, it was tied into Emma Frost and all that stuff. So, and she did later go on. She was in the X-Men, like 193 or something like that. But then they introduced her as part of the New Warriors, and heck yeah, love her. Love Firestar, love Spider-Man as his amazing friends. Like, so cool. Love the character design. Great character. Love Namorita, Namor's cousin. And I love how cool she was. And if I didn't say it already, I feel like the New Warriors is kind of like, because they're like heroes for the 90s, but I felt like it was kind of punk rock in a kind of way. Because, not just because Namorita has only one hoop earring, and that's edgy, but I don't know, I just feel like they're slightly more fringe. Like, we have Marvel Boy, who is like Vance Astro, kind of associated with Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Night Thrasher, who's a new character. We have Speedball, whom I loved, a creation of Steve Ditko, and very much a Steve Ditko character, very fun. I loved his series, I covered it, so, like the first issue, maybe, and, or was it issue 2? I don't remember, but anyway, you can look through my 500 videos and find it if you want to. Kid Nova, I love that, because I think it is actually Richard Rider, who was like the original Nova, so interesting that he would like downgrade himself to be called Kid Nova. But Nova is like so awesome. I remember my brother collected Nova and loved Nova, and he's like one of Eric Larson's favorite characters. And Eric Larson did, he had some association with Nova, like hopefully maybe a series that he always wanted to do. And I loved it. I feel like it wasn't long enough, but that's neither here nor there. So anyway, back to the interiors. Love the splash page. So dynamic. Great upshot. Interesting thing about Mark Bagley is I feel like I have a slight issue with Mark Bagley, not just because I'm hit or miss with his art, but also because I feel like he got a professional job through Marvel at one point, and then went on to win the Marvel tryout contest. And I felt like he kind of should have been disqualified. Like, not to say they shouldn't give him work, but they should have let someone win who has never worked in comics and just was like this great undiscovered talent or something like that. I mean, that's a video for another day entirely. But this is fun. I mean, Mark Bagley, I'll give him his props. He does great storytelling. And I think that's one of his strengths and probably what, led to him doing a bazillion issues of Spider-Man and launching and successfully making Ultimate Spider-Man like such a huge success along with Michael Bendis. And I love Namorita. What can I say? Of course, she's blonde, so I'm immediately drawn to that. But I just love these characters. I thought they were a lot of fun. I love the teen dynamic and, like, they're young and teen angst and all that fun stuff. So it'll be interesting, I hope. And I feel like Larry Malstead takes over as anchor soon, but I feel like even though I'm never going to complain about Al Williamson's inks, I think he's an amazing artist, but I think that especially since I think Bagley has like this more classic superhero style, that he needs a little bit tighter or more polished inks than are happening here. And I forgot who he would go on to be inked by. I want to say like Scott Hanna, Dick Tracy. Oh my God. Talk about underrated, like such a great movie. Beautiful, like cinematography. Warren Beatty really, I feel like it was before its time because Warren Beatty wanted it to look like a comic strip. He used these very RGB like palettes and just like, it was beautiful and stunning if nothing else. And you have the amazing performances by like Al Pacino and like this great like Dick Tracy villain, heavy like makeup, like such a great movie. And of course, me being a Madonna freak, love that Madonna was in it. And she didn't ruin the movie as someone of her pop icon stature could, if nothing else just for like glaringly being obvious in it. But this had me at hello, even though it came at the end of the book. I mean, who doesn't want that? This like big teen unity. I love teen books. There's so much fun, like the diversity and powers and costumes. And let's go on to issue number 2. I feel like the art's already getting better, but this is Bagley and Al Williamson, so I'm assuming he's doing the interiors again, which he has that sketchy look, like Al Williamson, like I'm saying, like John Romita Jr., Gene Colan, like these are the types of people that he really, I feel like he probably has, and maybe if not, did like an excellent job inking Dennis Cohen and just people like that. But this is fun. I mean, it's funny because it's like a superhero team from the 90s, but we're going to take everything, like, we're going to make them have a danger room because the premier superhero team of the 70s and 80s, the X-Men, had a danger room. So everybody had a danger room where they could practice their powers. Interesting, huh? I really did like this series. I thought it was so good and like intriguing, and you can tell, I mean, the story's in depth because it has so many panels, so it must be right. But they introduced a lot of fun characters. And it was just classic, like, superhero team action. Obova, Rick Leonardi from Vision and Scarlet Witch miniseries. Such a great artist. Arachnophobia. I never saw that. I don't have spider fear. I'm the asshole who, like, I've walked naked from the shower to the balcony so I could set free a spider, like, rather than kill them, because I always think of Stan Lee, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna kill a freaking spider. I'm sorry. Plus, they're, like, sort of majestical and magic. I mean, like, any creature that can produce a beautiful spider web, just, I don't know, like, stunning art for art's sake, I guess. This cover is fun. I love the green on the Mad Thinker's outfit, and I kind of love, like, even though I feel like the art is still a little slightly off, which is interesting because it's Mark Bagley and inked by Jackson Gweiss or Butch Gweiss, depending on which period in his career it was. But I do appreciate, like, see what I'm saying about how he needs a little bit more polish. So it's not bad. I do like it. I like the aesthetic of, like, the classic. And once again, it's funny because they're touting us as a superhero sensation of the 90s, but they're using all these, like, tropes of, like, classic comic book covers, like, not really, like, pushing any new agenda, which is fine with me. Because if anything else, now that I think about it, this could be, like, the end of a bygone era here. But, like, the whole, like, the villain is large and the heroes are small in his grasp. I just love that. Yes, here we go. Oh my god, this is amazing. Larry Malstead, I love his inking. Zany inker, crazed penciler. Fabian Nicieza, psycho writer. Mark Bagley, crazed penciler. Larry Malstead, zany inker. Mike Heisler, manic letterer. Andy Yonkis, who would color John Byrne on Alpha Flight. So, hi, Andy, yay. Danny Fingereth, Mad editor. And Tom DeFalco, Matter editor. Anyway, so we've moved on to Larry Malstead, and I think this is a much better fit. He inked Steve Lytle on the 80s, like, Doom Patrol, and I really love their art together. I thought he brought such a nice polish to it. I already see, like, this great feathering here and these fine lines and, like, this definition, like, you know, like what I'm talking about, like, with Mark Bagley's art is, like, he has classic superhero art style, and I think, like, a polished inker like this is just, like, a blessing for him. And I love his use of Zipatone. It's, like, very classic comic book art. And the characters just look great. I mean, like, you can see, like, such an improvement. And this is such a great example as we get to see this, you know, progress, how important inkers were and how much they brought to the table and how invaluable, like, a really good inker was, and what a testament to their skill, their craft, their art, their talent. So if you're an inker, God bless you. And if you're a penciler who inks, it's like, but I feel like, you know, as an artist myself who's done both, I've inked other people, I've inked myself. It's often frustrating. There's a lot of nuance to it, and it just, wow, this is crazy. Anyway, I got off on this tangent about art, but I love it. I think it looks great. I mean, the use of Zipatone is just never lost on my radar, so there you go. And any fight scene where one of the protagonists is wearing a towel, I'm so for that. Gross. I hate the characters who nosebleeds, like when they use their power. Obviously, I always like a psychic power, like a strain on your brain, so blood's coming out. I mean, like, look at this gorgeous, like, hatching and shadowing. Like, I just love Larry Malstead's ink so much. Super talented. I'm guessing he's probably an amazing, like, penciler and artist in his own right, given how beautiful his finishes are. I think, and that's a huge thing. Okay, so this is issue 3. Oh, we're almost there, kids. Only one more issue in the first venture into New Warriors. Classic cover here. We got Bagley and Malstead. Yay. Introducing Cyanex. I love, like, you know, it feels like, you know, you have, like, Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery and Batman's Rogues Gallery and, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman's Rogues Gallery, Wonder Woman, hit or miss on her Rogues Gallery. But anyway, any good villain is only worth their Rogues Gallery. But I love when new villains are introduced. It's always so fun and exciting. And speaking of teen books, it's like that was one of the huge strengths of Batman and The Outsiders. They always had these great villains. And it makes sense that a team would battle a team. I mean, that's exactly why Alpha Flight, one of my favorite books ever, was created. Because they just needed opponents for the X-Men. And Byrne viewed them as, like, throwaways. Bite your tongue. Frickin' John Byrne. Bite it. And look how great that was. Like, what would Batman be without the Joker? I mean, I know that's such a cliche, but... for real though. Look at all this beautiful Zipatone, Larry Malstead, just kicking butt. I mean, I almost, and it's funny, it's like, I appreciate his inks more than I even do Bagley's pencils, which is weird. Oh, I love that here. I love, like, when they do interesting things with panel borders and just fun like that. And, oh my gosh, I hate seeing Namorita get her butt kicked, though. Speedball, I love Speedball. I mean, let's face it, this is basically like a deconstructed Spider-Man costume. Like, instead of webbing, you have, like, bubbles, and then you just got the, like, exposed scalp and the, you know, big hair. But that's okay. I was just talking to one of my friends about this, and he was kind of lamenting about how, you know, a lot of costumes look the same and things like that. But it's like, you look at fashion, it's like, you know, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, Don Feld, you know, Bob Mackie. It's, you know, I feel like great designers have such a strong point of view and aesthetic that when you put their stuff together, like, a great designer is instantly recognizable, and I feel like that's a strength, you know what I mean? Like, when you look at Dave Cockrum's designs, sure, a lot of them have very similar things going on, like Storm and Miss Marvel's second costume, and, but it's kind of what we like, you know, what we love about him. Anyway, off on another tangent. Oh well, at least I'm not spoiling the story for you guys. See, that's the other thing though, like, about Mark Bagley is, like, I feel like he's strong and showed a lot of potential, and this is very early in his comic career, like, well before Spider-Man. Maybe not well before, but I feel like he never, like, he's kind of one of those artists who just sort of hit the scene and just sort of stayed the same. And you guys might disagree with me, but I just feel like this could be taken out of, like, Ultimate Spider-Man. Maybe with slightly different inks or something. I don't know. I'm being too critical, I suppose, because, you know, props to him. He's definitely maybe what Ed and Jim would call a jobber. I don't know. Just cranking out the pages. But he brought us the first run of New Warriors, and like I said, it was and still remains to be one of my favorite books, and great team dynamics. So beautiful. I love it. Anyway, that was a little journey into the New Warriors. So much fun. Issues 1 through 4. If you guys haven't read this and love, like, team books and whatever else, fun art, Mark Bagley fans, check it out. Good stuff. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel, hit like, share my content, and I'll bring you some more later. Thanks, guys.